We need to get the seeds planted.
We do.
Get the seeds planted.
How's it, guys? Today we are going to plant some seeds. And I am really, really excited. I have been itching to plant seeds for quite a while, and today is the day. For those of you who don't know, we are gardening in South Africa, in zone 10B, and we are heading into spring. Today is the 28th of August. We're nearing the end of August. So it is springtime, almost. Our spring officially starts in September. But according to the moon calendar, we have between now and Thursday to plant all of our vegetable and flower seeds. So we've got some compost that I'm going to use. We were gifted some compost from a friend. And we've got some seedling trays. So what we have is 3 of these 12-cell seedling trays. I think I'm going to do flowers in here. We have 6 of these really cool single-cell trays. So what I was thinking is that some of the plants, like some of the tomato varieties that we want to do a lot of, I'll just put them all in here. It's much easier than doing individual cells for those things. And then we have 4 of these really cool 128-cell seedling trays with removable pods. And these are amazing. We've used them for many seasons in the past. They are really long, so they encourage really great root growth. And yeah, they work exceptionally well. Hi, can I help you? I'm busy. You're gonna help me plant seeds? Yeah. So we are gonna try and get, no, don't lick my armpits, sis. We're gonna try and get all of our flower and vegetable seeds sown today. And yeah, see how much of it we can get done. We're really excited. So here's our compost pile. We've been keeping it covered so that the rain doesn't wash all of it away. But it is really, really beautiful. You can see some of the weed seeds have started to germinate in there. That's okay, we don't mind. So we generally, when we're starting seeds, you can't see my face. Let's do that. Generally, when we're starting seeds, we just use whatever soil we have available. We've never been picky about using specific mixes or buying fancy things. We always just go dig in our nearest bush and find something that is sort of light and airy enough that'll work. And we've always really had great success. In fact, the one time that we had an incredible fail was at the beginning of our winter season. Actually, we bought what was supposed to be a bag of potting soil to use as our seed mix, and it was awful. And the seeds germinated, and then they got damp off, and they got really leggy, and they were just so weak, and they never grew past the first set of leaves. So yeah, we prefer to just use what we have. In this case, as I said, we were gifted this beautiful compost. We haven't sifted it or anything, so I'll just pick out any pieces that are too large, like a piece of bark. But it's really loose, it's nice and black, it's filled with organic matter. I think it's going to be absolutely perfect. So we're going to get all these trays nice and full, and then we will water them before planting the seeds. I prefer to water my pots really heavily before I put seeds in. That way the seeds won't get displaced once they've been planted. And then after that, when I water, I have a very fine sprayer that I will show you guys later that I use to water. So I don't just use my watering can, I don't use my hose, I don't pour water with a jug. I like to be very gentle with my seeds. I treat them like babies. But these are really deep, so I'm thinking they might be quite nice for the squash as well, because I don't really have any that'll work for the squash. These are a little on the small side. These, in my opinion, are very much on the small side for things like squash and cucumber and melons. And I know they don't like to be transplanted, but I would like to get them started in a tray of sorts or a pot, just so that I can make sure that they actually germinate. And then when it comes to transplant time, I'll just be very gentle. So I think I might reserve 1 or 2 of these for the different varieties of squash and cucumbers and things. Usually once we get our seeds planted, I like to keep them in a place with sort of morning sun only, just because sometimes in spring we can get some really hot days, and the afternoon sun can be a bit brutal. So I like to keep them in a place with morning sun. Here I'm not actually sure. I think they might just get full sun, but our weather here at the moment is so mild that I actually think they'll do really well. And we are expecting about 4 days of rain later this week. I don't like my seedlings to get rained on, or my seed pots. I feel like if it's a heavy rain, it can also displace the seeds and give them too much water. So what we've done previously is I've put them inside the house, but I don't think we'll have space for that. So I'm not 100% sure what we're gonna do. I might put them under the house. But we do have a couple of days to figure that out, because I definitely don't think I want to leave them out in the rain. It's just not my cup of tea, so I will see how we can protect them. I would love to hear from you guys. What do you use for your seed starting mix? I know some people like potting soil. I know some people like going completely soilless with their seed starting mixes. For me, that's a lot of pressure, because there's no soil. The seeds don't have any food, and so once they've germinated, they run out of food very quickly, and then you have to either immediately repot them or start feeding them. I've always found that using something like potting soil, if you're in a complex or a flat or a place where you can't just randomly go and dig soil out from the ground, buying actual potting soil from a reputable nursery works really well, because it's loose, it's got compost, it's usually mixed with a bit of perlite or vermiculite for aeration and water retention, and yeah, that works really well, and it's quite cost effective usually, but I know some people prefer cocoa peat or cocoa coir, germination mats, heat mats. I'd be interested to know what you guys use for seed starting. Now, those who are not in South Africa, you guys must be wondering how on earth I can be starting my seeds sort of so late towards the beginning of spring, and also just have them outside. In our area, we really don't get frost. We get maybe 2 or 3 mornings of light frost throughout the whole winter. So in my area, our night temperatures are almost consistently above 10 degrees Celsius at the moment, which means that it's warm enough for our seedlings, our seeds, to be outside. And because we're in zone 10B, we have a really long growing season. So there's no pressure really for us to start our seeds 6 weeks before our frost date, our last frost date, anything like that. We actually are very fortunate in that we really can just start seeds whenever we want to. And that's particularly in my area. There are some places in South Africa that do get more frost, and so they are a bit more on a time crunch. But for us, we're very fortunate where we are. The only downside, though, there is a downside to having such a nice long growing season and such a mild winter, is that our pest pressure is really heavy. So we struggle with aphids a lot more, red spider mites. We have something awful called the pumpkin fly that will attack all manner of squash and melon plants. It actually stings the fruit and lays its eggs inside, and then once the eggs hatch, they start eating the fruit and it just rots. It's really gross. And in our area, we have it quite bad, and there's really no remedy. There's nothing you can spray to deter them. It's really just about trying to diversify your garden as much as possible to confuse them and distract them, and to bring in predatory insects and birds that would eat them, so that we could have less of them. And then of course the only other thing you can do is to make sure that you don't let, they do sting your fruit, not to let the, don't just leave that fruit on your compost pile, because then all that will happen is you're just helping the cycle and you're growing more pumpkin flies. So you need to either feed it to your chickens, burn it, sadly. That is the way. Okay, these ones are done. I should have brought a chair to sit on. Kajari, don't you want to fetch me a chair? Kajari, go fetch me a chair. Will you bring me a chair, Kajari? No, that way. Kajari, I need a chair. You can sit down. I need a chair. I need to sit. Okay, it's not working. I'm not training her very well, apparently. She doesn't understand. It's a bad dog. Okay. So, usually I sit and fill these individually, and it takes me like 2 hours. But because they're so long, you really want to get the soil packed in there. Anyway, Chanel suggested I just gooi, and then, that means throw. Just throw the soil in. Sorry for the Afrikaans, for all the foreigners. Chanel suggested I just throw the soil in and then push it down with my fingers individually. We're going to give that a shot. Let's just move this out the way so I can come closer. Let's see how it works. We're trying new things. Always try new things. Always experiment. There's always something to learn. Get some of these sticks out. Bring that there. And let's go like this. Now, the only thing about doing it this way is that then I can't control what goes in. Because now I'm getting all the sticks and all the roots and all the things that I don't really want in there. Anyway, let's just keep going. Give it a shot. Stone, that's a stick. Yeah. I must say I'm not super fond of this method, hey? Now, it's a matter of deciding. Oh, you guys are very far away. Let's bring you closer. Now it's a matter of figuring out what goes where. So what I have is my notebook, which has turned into somewhat of a garden journal, which is really cool because I have tried to do a garden journal before in an actual garden type journal, and it never worked out. Who knew that all you needed to do was buy a plain old notebook and just start writing things down, and then it actually works and it's something you can stick to. So what I have written here is sort of a bunch of all the varieties that we're growing this season, and then next to most of them I've put a number. So like Nutapeno, I wrote 10. That's the number of plants that I actually want in the garden, at least 10. So that means that we will be planting 15, 16, 17 plants. We'll want 20 plants to be growing, so that we definitely have that many 10 seedlings to plant in the garden. Same thing with the tomatoes. Some of them I'm only going to grow 2 because we're trying them out for the first time. But I want 2 plants in the garden, which means that we will plant 4 to 6 seeds, so that we definitely will have the 2 plants in the garden. So now we just need to figure out in which container everything is going to go. This season I don't have individual labels for everything, I decided not to really bother. What works for me actually is just planting everything, taking photos as I plant, and then using my phone to edit the photos and actually type in the varieties. So I'll use Tipex or something to mark like the front of the seedling tray so that I can't get them mixed up. Or I'll use Tipex and just number all the seedling trays, and then I can type the lists out on my phone or in my notebook. And then another thing that I do sometimes, for example, let's say in a tray like this, the single cell tray, I'm going to plant 2 varieties of tomatoes. What I'll do, because I know my varieties pretty well, I will plant 2 varieties that are very different from each other. So something like a striped Roman, which is a very wispy tomato plant, and a blue goldberry, which is it's a very stout little plant, and it's got purple leaves or purple tinged leaves. That way when they come up, I can definitely tell them apart. So usually I do things like that. But labeling works well too. It's kind of foolproof. We just don't always have access to labels and things like that. So we just have to do what works. Okay, I think I'm about ready to get some seeds. I think I'm going to start with the flowers. That's kind of the easiest, and I'm going to use these 3 trays here in front. Alright, so I've got my flower seeds here. Oh, we've got so many gorgeous ones. I'm really excited. We've got some chamomile and some basil, which are the only herbs that I'm growing from seed. Lots of zinnias. I've been waiting to be able to plant this many zinnias. Okay, that's a coneflower. And we've got all different colors. We've got cornflowers, which are Chanel's favorite. We've got nasturtiums, and then some cosmos as well, which is really cool. So we're gonna get going. I like to have a stick that I can use to just kind of poke holes in. I actually need to figure out. Okay, so I've come up with a plan. We've got 12 rows of 3, and I chose 12 of the varieties of flowers. And we're just going to do 3 of each. Where did my stick go? Here's my stick. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm not just going to put 1 in each cell. I'm kind of just going to loosen a big area of soil like that in most of the trays. We don't mind growing a lot of cornflowers. I'm just going to sprinkle. That's way too many. Oh well. Right, so now the chamomile, I actually need to put some of the soil back down, because chamomile you want to keep more on the surface. Chamomile seeds are like powder. That's how small they are. It is actually insane. I've tried to grow them so many times and failed so many times. Let's wait for the traffic. And the one time I succeeded at growing tons of caramel. Yes, I grew tons of caramel. Chamomile was when I just gave up. I was like, you know what? I'm going to sprinkle it all in the bed. Just like this. Sprinkled it throughout the bed. Just on top of the soil. Didn't do anything else. And I left it. And I was like, if the stuff is going to grow, it's going to grow. And if not, well, then I'm done. And we had so much chamomile that season. It was incredible. So I'm sprinkling tons of seed on here. So here is the seedling tray. Those are the chamomile seeds. All of those tiny white hairy things, those are the chamomile seeds. That's how small they are. It's insane. Honestly, there's so much information about starting seeds, and it can be so complicated. But at the end of the day, plants want to grow. And you can do many things wrong and still be successful. So if I could give you any advice when it comes to wanting to start seeds, thinking about gardening, and just feeling completely stressed out, my advice is don't overthink it, don't pressure yourself, just put some seeds in the ground. Even if you think your soil is wrong, even if you think you don't have enough space, just do it. Because chances are it's gonna work. We do things the incorrect way all the time, and look at us living this life. You know, it's just, there's so many different ways to do so many different things. Diversity is key. Imagine if we were all the same, how boring we'd be. That rhymed. I'm quite impressed with myself. Should write that down. So these are so beautiful, and I'm very excited to be growing them. They are apricot lemonade cosmos. The camera's on selfie mode, so I actually don't know if you'll be able to read that. I hope so. And we've got salmon zinnia. This is from M.I. Gardner. The color just sounds amazing, like this orangey, pinky salmon color. One of the largest zinnias on the market. That is cool. I'm down for large flowers, thank you very much. I have this dream of having this beautiful flower garden. Queen Lime Blush. Oh, I need my stick. Where'd you go? So this is the one thing that always happens consistently. When I'm seed starting, I use my stick, and then I lose my stick. And the thing is, once you've found a good stick, is this it? I don't think this is it. You want to just keep using the same one. So you'll notice I haven't closed anything yet. I haven't covered any of the cells. I like to do that right at the end. So because sometimes when you're planting, if I plant and then cover them immediately, I might forget that I planted there. So I leave everything open, plant everything, and then close everything all at once. That just helps me not get sidetracked. Or it helps me keep track if I get sidetracked. Queen Lime Blush. I'm so excited for these. I'm not going to plant too many because I want backup seeds. And then the polar bear zinnia. So this is a large white blossom. Very excited. Very, very excited. I've been dreaming of having these flowers in my garden for so long. Oh, there's a lot of seeds in this one. Purple Prince zinnia we have grown for many seasons, and they are absolutely stunning. These are actually now our own saved seed. These aren't even the original seeds anymore. So we've been growing and saving these seeds for about 4 years now. And they're just absolutely stunning. And then this incredible variety of echinacea, green twister coneflower. It's so cool. I'm so excited to see it in real life. Okay, so that is all of them. Now that they're all planted, I'll start closing them. I'll push them down, close them over. Grow! Now we just talk to them. We talk to them daily. We start checking by the hour to see if they have germinated. I will probably look first thing tomorrow morning to see if any came up while I was sleeping. So now the real obsession begins. So something I've decided to do that's going to help me with these single cell trays is I'm going to number them on either side. So this one, for example, I'm going to number this half number 1 and that half number 2. It doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to work. I can figure out what's going to go where. I think I'm going to do probably the tomatoes next. You know what I'm going to... No, I'm not. Because I'm not going to do a whole row of tomatoes for each variety. I could. What am I going to do with that many extra seedlings? That is the question. So we're going to label this guy. Right. This is how the pros do it, guys. 17. 18. 19. So now we're going to plant tomatoes. Yay. So I'm going to plant half with the Opolka variety. and half with the Golden King of Siberia, because those are the two that I'm planting the most of. So plants wise, I want about 10 Opolka plants and about 8 Golden King of Siberias. So they're going to go in here, and then all the others are either 4 or 2 plants. So the ones that I want 4 of, we're going to plant 8 plants. The ones that I want 2 of, we're going to plant 4 plants. We're going to try and keep track of all the numbers. I've got my stick, made my holes over here. So the Opolkas, as soon as I can find them, are going in number 11. And Golden King of Siberia is going in number 12. That's not too hard to remember. I've now got it on video. So we're going to put 1 or 2 seeds in each little hole that I made. And then once we've planted them all, we'll cover them up. Okay, there's the Opolkas. First tomatoes of the season have been planted. You excited for tomatoes, love?
So excited for tomatoes.
Golden King of Siberia. This one we're planting many of because it is a beautiful, giant, yellow, meaty slicer. And I think that it'll make the most incredible tomato sauce. Tomato paste, not tomato sauce as in ketchup. Okay, now for the rest, I'm pretty much just gonna go in order of cherry tomato, do all the cherries, then do all the pastes, then do all the slices. It just makes more sense to me that way, to do it like that. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, I need my stick, need to make all the holes. First one we've got is Queen of the Night. This is a cherry tomato. According to my book, I said that we need 2 plants in the garden. So, hi. So in number 13, the first 4, the top 4 cells of number 13 are Queen of the Night. Wow, there are not many seeds in here. Let's not waste any, guys. Let's be careful. So there is 1. So that's Queen of the Night. Then the next 4 will be Black Strawberry. So the front 4 of number 13 are Black Strawberry. Oh, that's what they look like, by the way. And also just, yeah, 2 plants, so 4 cells. Oh, these seeds are much bigger. That's interesting because I think it's a smaller tomato.
Well,
Yeah.
do you like a homemade jam slicer bread?
1, 2. Ooh, that's a tough one. Can I have a jam, please? 3, 4. Okay, let's put a double one there, put a double one there. Alrighty. This guy. We wanted 4 plants, so we're going to do 8 cells. So we're going to do a whole row. So number 14's row are these. These are the only determinate variety of tomatoes that we are growing. They're just so prolific. They're absolutely incredible. And they're very cute. They've got this little point on the end of all the fruits. And really, really nice for sun drying and fermenting. We really, really liked them. Determinate, I explained in my other video. So you get 2 types of tomatoes, indeterminate and determinate. Now the indeterminates are most varieties of tomatoes. They grow more like a vine, and they will just keep growing for as long as you look after them. They'll just keep going and going and going and producing fruit until either the frost kills them or disease kills them. Determinate varieties of tomatoes are more of a bush type. They can get big, but they don't keep vining, so they have a predetermined number of flowers and fruit in the seed already, in their sort of DNA, in their genetics. Monkeys. And so if you were to prune determinate tomato plants, you would actually be losing out on a harvest because you're taking away from what they can produce. Thank you for my jam bread. This is Brad's Atomic. Why did I take him out? Okay, so Brad's Atomic, we also want 4 plants. So we're also going to do a whole row. So that will be number 15. Will be Brad's Atomic Grape. This is a very tiny baggie. Why on earth did I do that? There we go, just putting 1 or 2 seeds in. So number 16 is going to be blue goldberries. Also 4 plants, so we're going to do a full row of those. What did I say, number 16? Just make sure I don't get it wrong. Okay, next we're doing striped Roman, which is a paste tomato. We've grown this before. It's also 4 plants, so we're going to do a whole row, and we're on number 17. There's way too many seeds. Ooh, Pink Fang. I'm excited about this one. It's a new paste that we're trying this year. So we're only wanting 2 plants, so I'm just going to do half a row. So the top half of row number 18. See, I'm using this video as my record. I'm gonna go and write this all down afterwards when I am done here. 2, 3, 4. We shouldn't need to do extras. Then we've got chocolate stripes. Oh, I'm so excited for chocolate stripes. So that's going to be the bottom half of number 18 is chocolate stripes. See. Now the cool thing about chocolate stripes is that they are, I'm pretty sure, a potato leaf variety of tomato. So most tomato plants have got ridges in their leaves. But you do get potato leaf varieties, which they actually look more like potato plants, so they've got rounded leaves. It's very cool. And then we've got the triple crop tomato, which we're gonna do. I said I only wanted 1 plant in my garden, but that's really just because the seeds are old and I'm not sure that they're gonna germinate. But we'll do 4. So triple crop will be the top half of number 19. We'll take up 4 cells and see if we can get a good germination rate from those, because that would be really cool. Then we've got Paul Robeson. We're gonna do 4 of those. And hope that they germinate this year, my goodness. So they will be the bottom half of number 19. We're going to put extra seeds in so that they have Black Beauty. How gorgeous is that? How many do we want of Black Beauty? Also 2, so we're going to do a half a row of Black Beauty. So they're going to be in the top half of row number 20. So Brandywines, the Black Brandywine will be the bottom half of number 20. Yeah, I'm right. Confusing myself here. Where's my stick? Because I need to make another hole. Okay. Don't blow away, please. What's crazy is that last season we had 2 Black Brandywine seeds left, and only 1 of them germinated. And we got a couple of really beautiful fruits, and now we have tons of seed. That is the beauty of seed saving. Thorburns Terracotta. We're going to do a whole row of that, I think I said. Because that is a beautiful tomato. Very, very, very prolific. Don't blow my stuff away, please. I would really appreciate it. So row 21 is all going to be Thorburns Terracotta. There's my stick because that hole closed itself. The last 2 varieties, which are the unnamed Big Red and Plain Red. So row 22, we're going to do Big Red tomatoes. We're going to do just half a row of row number 22. The top half of row 22 is big red. And then the bottom half will be this plain red, fairly meaty slicer. Great naming. You're so good at this. It would be nice if you could go in the hole and not next to it. Thanks. Alrighty, those are all the tomatoes planted for this season. How cool. I'm excited. So now we get to close all the holes, and then I think that'll be it for today's seed planting. In the next couple of days we'll fill the rest of the trays with peppers and squash and cucumbers and melons, and we'll probably show you guys all of that as well. So we will see you next time. Bye.